Exactly.
But she had a
Exactly.
plan, though. That sister had a plan, as you saw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I do have a few words about the ending of that movie, but we'll talk about that in a few.
Okay. All right. All right. Is there something? What else did you want to mention? 'Cause I know we got a. I'm crossing stuff off as we discussed. So go ahead. What else you had that you want to
Okay.
talk about?
So after doing a little bit of research on the movie, right, it reminded me a lot of other movies that are out there. For instance, Black Mirror, which is on Netflix. It's a series that's out there on Netflix. And it reminds me of one episode of Black Mirror called White Mountain. Oh, no, was it Bear Mountain, White Mountain, something mountain? But anywho, in that episode, it was about a woman who wakes up and she has to kind of like relive um, the same theme or the same horror over and over again. But yeah, and at the end of the movie is what reminded me of this movie. The end of that episode is what reminded me of this movie, because at the end, when she realized that she was in like a present time and people were actually videotaping her with cell phones. And the same thing happened in Antebellum at the end of the movie when she finally escaped off that plantation. Did you see people with cell phones? Like videotaping her, like, tape her, not videotape her, but with it,
Yeah, filming on the phones. Mm-hmm.
filming her with the phone. But it kind of reminded me a little bit of Black Mirror. It reminded me of a movie called Hostel. It reminded me a lot of other movies, yeah, or like mixed, like just these torturous chamber type movies. This reminded me of those type of movies. But yeah, I just had to say that. But I did want to ask you and talk a little bit about the feminist themes in the movie.
Okay.
Because as you know, my position with feminism when it comes to white and Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said I would never march with a white woman to the store. And the reason why, I got some white friends, y'all. I do. I love them. But the reason why I say that is because collectively, when we talk about women, our struggles are not the same. Okay? Collectively, when we talk about women's struggles, it's always whitewashed. So when we talk about feminism, women's struggles, things of that nature, the world automatically pins it to a white woman's struggle. All right? They don't see the plight of any other cultures, not just Black women. I'm talking about Indian women, women from Africa, women from China, whatever. They don't see their specific plights. It's always whitewashed. And in this movie, towards the end, the woman that she had like a beef with, I forgot her name, the white woman that she had a beef with.
Rebecca, right?
Rebecca?
Well, I think
is it Rebecca? Is that her name?
I think it might have been Rebecca, or Rebecca was the server at the restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, Rebecca was because Gabrielle said that she was life in that movie. I'm sorry, she was life. She was fast and life. Okay, but anywho, at the end of the movie, when they're having this big fight, okay, Eve is trying to escape from the plantation, and we'll call her Rebecca for now, but Rebecca's trying to hold her back. And the words that Rebecca was saying to her, accept your plight. You ain't shit. You ain't nothing. Those are the words that she said to Eve, Veronica. And that kind of stung me because I'm like, again, the past is not dead.
No, it's not. It's not.
And then at the end, when Eve whooped her ass, okay, she was saying, what kind of woman are you?
Right.
Those are the words. What kind of woman are you?
Right.
Because I guess in Eve's mind, her having white friends in her real life, her being around other white women in her real life, she probably thought that, you
She was
know,
protected or
right,
insulated.
right. She was protected, insulated from a lot of things.
Hmm. Or that somehow socially within her circle we're kind of slowly arriving at this utopian Disneyland, type of culture where
Right.
everybody, we're she thought that all lives matter, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hmm.
She did kind of think all lives matter in a sense.
All women lives matter.
All women, right? There you go. All women's life. Even though she talked about what she call that thing, intersectionality and all that other good stuff in some other speeches, um, I really think thought that all women, all lives matter. And then at that very point, she was just like probably taken aback, and finally realized that all women lives does not matter, because here is another woman
Hmm.
oppressing you, doing horrible, horrible things, unthinkable things, allowing unthinkable things to happen, such as what white women used to do in the past. And now I'm not going to beat them all up, because some of them were also oppressed and repressed and depressed and all that other good stuff too. But
Hmm.
still, they allowed it to happen. And still, some of them did, partake in some of the mistreatment and horrors of slavery too. So,
Right, and I think you have a very good point. A lot of them were culprits and co-conspirators
yes.
in the system of white supremacy historically. There's a good book called "They Were Her Property" that's out there. I think everybody should read.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about how white women owned slaves and participated in the system of slavery in America.
Yeah.
Um, I
And
think
still to
we
this
see,
day.
still to this day, we can see a lot of that manifest in this whole exposures of these Karen incidents that's happening all across the
Exactly.
nation. I don't think it ever went away. I think, like we're saying, now that everybody has cell phones now, people are just uploading and exposing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
You can
now people
document it now. It's
can document
documented.
it. Exactly. So now it can
Right.
be chronicled, documented, archived,
And
um,
addressed.
and addressed, so it cannot be denied.
Right.
Um, so I think these are the things that you see here. These modern day considered Karens are, if you were to take them back antebellum times, these would be your slave masters' wives, slave masters' daughters, all of
Daughters,
that.
right.
So, so yeah.
Partaking, hurting. Yeah. Oh my God. That is such a good correlation, because that's
Hmm.
just what it is. And you kind
Right.
of, as women, we have a special makeup, than men. So, for her to, you automatically think that, you have this sensitivity towards another woman, no matter her race or anything. You automatically think that she um, feels some type of like kinship to you. Is that a word? I don't know. But
It sounds
like some
good.
type of bond to you, because,
Right.
being like girl power, being a woman. But
Hmm.
she realized at that point, no, boo, no, boo, boo, there's no bond there.
There's no
There's
bond.
no bond.
This is a power dynamic, and you're
It's
gonna
a power,
respect it.
right? Exactly. And that's just what it all is. It is a power struggle. It is a
Mhm.
power struggle. So, yeah.
You know what else I wanted to put out too, that I didn't want to forget. I wanted to make sure I cross this off my list. Um, a lot of times we, since inception, they broke us also with religion. Um,
Thank you.
and
Yes.
they
Yes.
broke us with religion, and through Christianity and just several religions and faiths. Um, a lot of people feel like, if I embrace my Christianity or my faith, or some people even get into like the whole, ancestor worship, my Islam, my Hebrew Israelite, my 5%er, my whatever it is, um, outside of your current, just your physical being existing on this earth and operating in the system. Some people, they get so heavy into their faith that they think that their faith will save them. And I think what was so interesting about it was in that smoke hot box where they would burn the slaves, kill them and burn them.
Right.
When the black man went in there, so he's going through and rummaging through the burnt up corpse.
Yeah.
He finds the cross and the chain. He finds a chain with a cross on it from the previous slave that was in there that was killed. And to me, it just shows you, like, that cross remained to show you that it don't make a difference whether you Christian or what. It's not about your faith. It's not about none of that. When it comes to the system of white supremacy, they will kill you, destroy you, enslave you. It don't make a difference about religion. And what I'm going to say may offend people, and I'm not doing it to offend you. I promise you, it's not my intent. But when dealing with this system, have your faith, but you better damn sure make sure that you will put in that physical work and making physical plans on this earth to get your freedom, because
Thank
they
you.
give a damn about
Exactly.
your faith. You know what I'm saying? They that slave was a Christian, had a cross pendant, and he burned through just the same. So
yeah, I wanted to tell you the theme of that cross.
okay, go
So
ahead.
we saw the woman who died at the beginning. She had the cross on. The guy, he found the cross inside the burnt, slave
Smoke or the hot box. Right.
inside the hot box. So he puts the cross on, okay? And then when he finally passes away while he's trying to save Eve's life, Veronica's life, at the, towards the end of the movie, she takes the cross and she puts it on, right? So, and she still has that cross on until she leaves that plantation at the end of the movie. So I always say to people, especially people who are, very religious, God does not move for us. God moves through us, because they don't understand that. They think that, I'm just going to sit back and be in my position because the Lord going to take care of everything. No, he's not. He's going to, you can draw your faith on God. And that's how I looked at it, because everybody had that faith. They had that cross. And I felt that Veronica, towards that end, yeah, she put that cross on, probably gave her some, some extra momentum to do what she had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But she allowed the spirit to move right through her onto freedom.
Right.
And that's just what we have to do. And, for our church people, God is not going to do it for us. He's going to do it through us.
There you go.
Through us. So we have to put in that action. We have to get that energy up and just do what we have to do for our freedom.
Facts.
Ooh, that ending was so powerful, Doc, because it showed that freedom is right there. It's just a walk through the mess.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be some sacrifices. People are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be so, just not afraid to lose some things, whether it's material things or even our lives, in order to get true freedom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's what I took away when she rolled her horse to the other side.
Did you see, so when, how they would flash back between the plantation and the modern life?
Yeah.
Do you remember, did you see they flashed the picture of her on a horse as a jockey?
Yes.
You saw that, right? Like,
yes.
I think that picture was on like the dresser or something like that. Because I was like, that's an interesting picture of her, like riding a horse out there. But then it's like, it foreshadowed what she was going to be doing.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like if she never had that horse training, would she have been able to escape? You know what I'm saying? She needed a horse to get on up out of there.
Right.
So, yeah, she had a lot of training that allowed her to escape, from her yoga skills, because she was able to flip her ass up out of that bed, next to that white man who was raping her. Okay, we're gonna talk about that too, Doc. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And she was able to open up that door. And that's another thing. I didn't understand why she was greasing that door down with some bacon grease and chicken fat. And it all makes sense because she was trying to not allow it to creak open when she, you know,
had to make that
escape. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So like she was being very meticulous with her moves. Like she knew that she was going to get the fuck up out of there, and she was planning everything from the T. So yeah, so I guess she had the skill set to escape, and that's almost like significant with us now, to almost like prepare for to always be ready. To always be ready to get certain skill sets, so that we could survive. Because all those skill sets that she had were survival mechanisms that she was able to utilize for her big escape. So I think that it was like almost a metaphor for us to be ready, ready, and develop skill sets, whether it's shooting guns and stuff like that. Because you know, I'm about to go to the range, Doc. I'm about to go to the range, okay? Okay, yeah. But also, yeah, just developing and getting skill sets so that we could be prepared, whether it's mental or physical, whatever it is, you know, so that we can be prepared for a fight. I'm not saying that we're going to fight, but, you know.
If it has to, you're prepared.
Yeah, just in case, right. You have to be prepared, such as Veronica. So.
Well, let's get into it, because you were saying something about how you were intrigued about the black woman's acrobats inside the bedroom with this white man.
Yes. Yes, Doc. So did you know that white man that she was laying with was a senator that was running for office at the time to get reelected during the movie, which is why he had his cell phone with him? Specifically picked her to be on that plantation. As Rebecca, because that's the name we're using for the white girl on the plantation, as Rebecca said to her, I didn't choose you. My father chose you. Her father was the man that was sleeping with Eve.
Right.
Yeah, her father was the man that was sleeping with Eve and was raping her. And I think that he saw her out there in that real world, and he wanted to bring her down to her knees and serve him and let her know her place, because she was getting too hot to diddy out there in the real world. And so when he got his chance, he got his chance. As you saw, he was raping her. He branded her. He beat her. He did everything but killed her, because he just wanted to torture her into submission.
I agree.
Just shut the fuck up, like we said.
Right. I just didn't make that connection. Now that you said it, it makes sense. That was the guy that was running for. I didn't pick that part up. That was good. That was good. That was good. That was good. That was good.
You know, I saw the movie like 4 or 5 times, though. Little things. I was like, oh no, what? Oh man. So yeah. Right. Yeah. And so, and the girl Rebecca, that was his daughter, and she didn't want Eve on that at the plantation. She, you know, she didn't want her there, but her father was the one who specifically, took her to go on that plantation. So, yeah. So, yeah, again, it goes into the theme of like silencing us in any way possible. He didn't want her voice to be heard out there in the real world, so he silenced her. Right. Or tried to. And the rapes.
Right. And the rapes. Right.
Because even now, when you think about it, when white men rape Black women, they are hardly prosecuted for it. when Black men are thought to have raped a white woman, they are automatically prosecuted and killed for it.
Right. 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 Yeah. If Black women are raped by white men, it is she somehow wanted it, or she's lying about it.
Or she's lying about it, yeah.
Or lying about it. White women raped by white men. So we think about what's the man, what is that white boy's name? I think he was a swimmer at Stanford or something like that. Brock something.
Brock Turner?
Brock Turner or Brock? Yeah, I think it's Brock Turner. But
Okay.
Brock was his first name. So
yeah,
he raped that girl. He raped a white girl, and he does time, but he only does a pinch of time. I think it was like just like maybe a few months, and then he was good. So that just shows you, be a white man in America, rape a white girl, a little bit of time. Be a white woman, be a Black woman. Not only is you're not really gonna go to jail like that. You'll probably be blamed for your own rape.
Yes.
We think about Officer Anthony Holtzclaw, who raped all them Black women.
All those Black women, yes.
And the media didn't even want to say that they were Black women. It had to be researched, because I interviewed I forgot my sister's name. She's down in Florida. She's in my documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But she was after she did all the digging, she found out all the women that he raped were Black.
Were Black, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it had to be like over 10 women for him to finally be brought to justice.
And
so
all those women were complaining all that time to the police, and no one said anything. Right. No one said anything about it. And on top of that, while he was being prosecuted, his whole entire community came out and said that he was the one that was being targeted.
Right. And as we say, you have these women of other persuasions and ethnicities that back him. So you had what's this woman's name? Michelle Malkin. Malkin. Who's calling me? Hold on, let me decline. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Hello? Sorry about that. I got somebody call. Michelle Malkin, I think she's Philippine. She is like one of Anthony Holtzclaw's biggest proponent and advocate and trying to get his release and saying these Black women are lying and all this type of stuff. So it's like, wait a minute now. I thought we were supposed to have this whole sisterhood of equity and justice.
No. Until women collectively get their shit together, there can never be a true feminist movement, ever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ever.
Right. I still want you to get into them acrobats that she was doing in that bear, because that joke's kind of ill.
That was dope, right?
I was like, okay, I like how she popped up like that.
I bet you did. Yes.
Janelle Monáe, you can pop up in my crib anytime like that.
I'm telling. I think she'll like me more than you, Doc.
No, I know. But she's still a fine sister, man.
I know she is beautiful. She is. Mm-hmm. So as we saw in her present day, she was an avid yoga person. She practiced yoga. She kept physically in shape. So I guess those things, it really, again, those skill sets helped her to escape. And I thought that was wonderful, because I'm like, what the hell is she doing? Right. Oh my God, that was so dope. And for her to, she found the spots on the floor on where not to step on so that she doesn't make any noise, so the floor doesn't creak. Mm-hmm. So again, she was planning all of that. Mm-hmm. And it was good. I like that part of the movie. I thought it was brilliant that they added that all in.
I think that was dope, and I think it also spoke on a more symbolic, like subliminal message level. Like, her steps. I wrote in my notes, her steps and footwork to maneuver around the cabin quietly. Mm-hmm. Are they saying that's how we need to be operating in these times, in stealth mode. Well, we don't
Ooh,
need to be loud. Like, you know, high volume doesn't equal victory. Volume doesn't
no,
equate to victory. You know what I'm
no.
saying? Sometimes quiet as possible, get your moves off. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what I want to text while I'm recording. So I think that was kind of like another message with that whole like moving silence, moving stealth mode. You know, to make your way towards liberation and freedom is another way of that's another way how I interpreted it. So
Right. And I agree so much. I agree totally. I agree
mhm,
totally. And
mhm,
it's so funny because the way a lot of our ancestors were able to escape slavery, the way they were able to revolt in certain situations, they moved in silence. They
mhm,
moved in silence. And I'm thinking like today, for us to really enact change, should we move in silence? It's hard for us to because we're in the age of social media. Everything is being broadcast, you
mhm.
know? And so like I guess if we are to bring about some type of significant permanent change, we would probably have to move in silence.